All right. Thanksgiving Day, Thursday. My wife was kind enough to let me get out for maybe 3-4 hours of riding. I'm at the foothills of, well, I guess it's a part of the Blue Ridge Mountains. I'm in Upperville. At the Upperville, Battle of Upperville. Beautiful area. I think they also call that up there Mount Storm or Mount Weather. So I thought I'd give a quick rundown. My buddy said I should probably get my rigged out KTM 690, 2018 KTM 690 Enduro R a little bit closer to share with everybody. It's my sort of Rade Garage Rally Raid build. You can see I've got the Rade Garage fairing for this year. I think that's a K3 kit. They'd made some changes, I think, to the windscreen. They swept it up a little bit more. I'll also go over some of the other things that I've done to it. So the Rade Garage comes with the LSK LED lights, which are really nice, pretty strong. And I think the Rade Garage puts it in all the other bikes they do, the 701, 690, 890. I think they use the same lighting setup. Pretty straightforward install. On this bike, you get rid of the cowling and light. But other than that, it's really plug and play on cabling. It's been pretty rigid, pretty stable. Does give a little bit additional wind protection. Nothing's going to be like a big bike, right? I mean, nothing's going to be like a big twin with a lot of width to the fairing and to the windscreen and taller windscreen. Trade-off between visibility and safety, and just enough when you're slapping it between trails and dirt roads. One of the first things I picked it up, I'm second owner. Once I picked up the bike, I immediately took it to a suspension shop up in PA, Solid Performance, to lower, you know, for me, at least a couple inches, both front and rear. And this season I had it revalved, so it runs pretty plush with the type of riding I do. Nothing hard, but kind of like going a little bit quicker on the gravel roads, dirt roads. I think these are the original, not the original tires, but the oh, what are they? My eyes are getting Pirellis, the original Pirellis that normally come with this bike. I've got Motors in the back and Pirellis in the front. I just put the Moose racing guards. We're obviously in late November, going to December. I don't have heated grips on the bike, so I figured with a small stator I'll just put some guards. I do have the Rade Garage skid plate. I think it's like a 6-liter storage space, so now I've got most of my tools down in the skid plate. I keep a spare tire in that Wolfman fender bag. No issues with heat. It's worked out pretty well. I've got the triple clamp per engine guards. I did a little bit of a damage, I think, before I added some of the accessories. Bike fell on it. Just, you know, parked, fell over, and the really soft brake pedal went into the engine case and left some pretty good gouges in it. I've got a seat concept, standard seat concept seat. Highly recommend some of these guards. They look very similar, I think, to the KTMs. They're covered with the Moose Racing Guard. Metal, pretty stout, and work around the control cables, so they don't really get involved with having to move anything. You can see I home custom made brake. This again fell on the kickstand, snapped. I sheared it and used some of that epoxy gel epoxy to put it together. Still holding. Double take mirrors, Scott steering stabilizer. Had this for some time. I had it actually on my WR250. So with this bike, they come with typically people put the BRP anti-vibration, a little bit of dampening, and the Scots together. What else do I have? I've had a old Montana for a while. Nice part about the Rade Garage is it comes with this mounting for accessories or whatever you may have. Significantly moves your gauge up. And I added my own USB that has a built-in voltmeter and an on-off switch, just in case I have any issues or want to absolutely make sure there's no power drain. You can see the K3 fairing basically, clamps on to the frame. So it is pretty rigid once you get that thing mounted. I've got a GoPro here. I'm going to try a couple other places here, and I think I'm going to put a quick connect mount for the GoPro on the front of the windscreen. This part, is part of the Rade Garage fairing, and not only the windscreen, but the side panel. And they do a pretty good job getting to match with the stock plastic work. What I have giant here, I think these are the Mojaves. Yeah, maybe about, I don't know, 12 liters total, maybe 7 on each side, plus this additional 5-liter bag on top. I've got the Perun luggage rack, like a lot of people do. Simple, lightweight, bolts on pretty well. Sometimes I'll put a 2-liter gas canister. My mileage is pretty good, 60 miles to the gallon regularly. I've got motors in the rear. I think these are the remainder of the traction adventure. I still have a rubber. The tires are just unbelievable. I don't know, I probably have 10,000 miles, and I probably got half a tread left. So again, I don't ride it hard. I haven't done anything special with Tidy. I put the skiing tail lights. They're great. They're flashing and they're really bright. I kept the stock tail light. I put the LED bulb, however, in there. Same here. A buddy of mine had the Cyclop LED bulbs, which I don't know if they make anymore. He had it for his bigger KTM 1190. So I put them in here, and they're super bright. Stock housing. One of the first upgrade was changing the muffler, taking that heavy duty muffler and putting the wings muffler. Little bump in performance. I had, I didn't do any airbox changes. That way I don't do any remapping to anything. So I haven't done any remapping. Stock sprockets, front and rear. Rally Raid pegs, highly recommend them. I've put a fair amount of SAE connectors for not only accessories in the front directly from the battery, but for my tender, or if anytime I want to just plug in a heated glove or my heated jacket. Perun, foot, so I took my rear foot brakes like most people do, and I put that Perun to strap down soft luggage, whether it's a Moscow. This is my ride setup. I've had this for motion oil gauge. They're oil filled. They're really accurate. So the bike's sitting in the sun, they don't go up and down. So it's a pretty, what is it showing? About a 60-degree day, but it certainly feels a lot cooler. I always like putting with a couple bikes. I've got a 890, so it's nice to have quick read on, you know, my gas capacity. 3.2 gallon gas tank, about 60 miles a gallon, so 175 mile range. And I put my air tire pressure on the other side. What do I got? The Perfect Squeeze mounted on a ram ball to one of the 4 bolts that normally go through the handlebar clamp. This is fantastic. I lost my first iPhone with the, you know, riding off-road immediately. Image stabilizer died on me. Fortunately, my phone was under warranty. But this thing is kind of nice and simple. You mount it to standards, amp base, and a ram ball, and it gives you enough dampening so you don't have the harsh hits on your phone. Highly recommend it. Having both my bikes, and since I haven't had any issues with my phone dying. Keep a couple USB here extra again. I try to run them dedicated so I know I've got clean power just in case this other power goes bad. Shorty Magura clutch, and I also proactively changed the slave cylinder, which you can't see, but Rekluse, most people put over on, but Rekluse makes a also makes a, oh, what do you call it, that's slave cylinder, and it looked like, design wise, it looked a lot more robust, and certainly it's a fantastic feel in the clutch. It's firm, you know, not hard, but kind of like squeezing a balloon all through the clutch pull. And hopefully that should prevent me from, you know, the premature failure of the stock one. I believe I've got it under the seat. I've got a stock filter. Can't remember. Actually, I think I've changed the filter. I mean, it's the same design as stock, but I use a twin air filter. I've got about, you know, almost 18,000, well, 17,000 miles on the bike. I definitely agree. It's a reliable bike, long service intervals. I've been pretty happy. I was a little bit concerned about being able to do some of the work myself. I think I've done 3 valve checks. I haven't had to change the shims. My go-to dealer in North Carolina tells me after the first few, if they haven't really moved, they kind of settle down, and hopefully I won't have to get involved with you know, replacing. So that's my 2018. You know, I've got in the habit of trying to put a little yellow tape where the valve stem is. Just makes it easier knowing where the valve stem is when I want to air it up. But also, just in case anything moves. I don't typically pressure down. I don't have rim locks. So, Wolfman gas tank. I've done a couple big trips on this. I think one of them was with a buddy. About 1,800 miles riding up through Nova Scotia from one end to the other. With full luggage. Again, the challenge is, you know, you've got a windy day and you've got highway. Not the most comfortable bike you want to be on, just because it's light. But other than that, it's a fantastic dual sport bike.